along with Ben Darnell, Kurt Kaplan. Nick, what's Nick's last name?
Federico,
that's right.
Great baseball name.
It is. I grew up with some Tellericos. So, Federico, very close. Great. You're right. Great baseball name. Bryce Harper is also another great baseball name. I think Kevin Kernan nailed it when the fact that you don't even pick up the phone and call an agent and say, "Hey, what are you looking to get? What do you want?" And you don't explore the possibility of bringing in Bryce Harper because you have too many outfielders. Dude, his bat, I'll find a stinking place in the lineup for that guy, especially an American League team that you could DH him. Now you got the universal DH, so if he's got a blown out elbow, he come back and just DH for a while and smoke some baseballs. But that's the kind of nonsense that's why we have KK on. Because he gets to the bottom of why didn't you explore this? Why didn't you do that? Why'd you let that guy go? It's still, Bryce Harper, I still think there's this Nationals chip on his shoulder that he wasn't on their world championship team, that he is almost trying to will a championship for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's not about money. It's about respect. And when they were dogging him out like, we don't need him to win a championship kind of crap.
Talking about the Yankees.
Talking about the Nationals.
Oh, yeah. But you're also talking about the Yankees, and then they didn't go for it.
No, but the Yankees, that's just stupidity. The Yankees have missed with so many people. I'll tell you, I've told you this story before, but I'll tell it for new listeners. Greg Maddux hated the Yankees so much, he took less money to pitch for the Braves. The Braves didn't even have the money. It took John Schuerholz and I can't remember the other idiot's name. That was the president at the time down there. And they had to trade two players to make enough room on the salary, on their budget, to bring in Greg Maddux. But Maddux would not pitch for the New York Yankees. Did not want to pitch. One of the greatest pitchers of my era, and he didn't want to play there. So obviously, and there's other guys. Cliff Lee, when the Phillies played the Yankees in the World Series, was so offended by someone spitting his wife's way, he's like, I don't even want to talk to him. Don't want to talk to him. And that was a fan. That ruined it for him. So it's little things like that. I was telling you about Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson, when he signed with the Diamondbacks, it wasn't about money. It was the fact of thoughtfulness by Jerry Colangelo. He got off the plane, and there was a golf bag waiting for him with his name on it. And I know he did the same thing with Penny Hardaway, but it's just those are the little things that you do that guys remember. Like, hey, you know what? There's a fruit basket in my hotel room by these people. That's the kind of stuff that goes a long way,
I just love where he's at right now. I just, following his whole career all the way back before the JUCO, hearing about this guy, like you said, when he's 16 years old, he is on the, remember, do they still do the faces in the crowd on Sports Illustrated where they have like the young kids?
Right. Where are they now kind of thing, dominating some high school somewhere?
I remember him being on that a long time ago and thinking, gosh, this is the golden child of baseball right now. They're bringing in, they're trying to prop up and try to give him the best of everything. And then the injury that happened in Washington where he steps on the bag and then he was gone the whole time. And then the whole courting of him as far as some of the teams that were in the mix, he finally settles on the Phillies. So he's been there and done that except for the winning part. And there are so many pro athletes across the board that don't care about the winning part. They care about getting paid. They care about their face in magazines. But they don't care whether or not their team wins or loses. This guy, I can't hate on him. He forewent Tommy John surgery and has this protective sleeve now in his elbow and is risking a lot being out there. He's not throwing the ball. He's playing first and DHing because of this. You know how many guys in the NBA? You know what? We got Deshaun Watson, who was paid $240 and his ankle was his ankle?
He did have Tommy John surgery.
Right. But then he comes back earlier because he has the extra stuff.
No, he's not the one. That's what's his face with the Red Sox.
What are we waiting on?
Story?
Yeah.
But why can't he throw? Harper can't do something right now.
Because he's got Tommy John.
Right. Oh, so you're saying
he's got the ligament
Right.
He's got a different ligament. So when he's
But
on
he
base,
shouldn't be here.
No,
That's what I'm saying. He is
came
risking
back.
it big time.
He's risking exploding that elbow.
Yes.
Even when he's running the bases, he puts basically a knee brace on that elbow. I mean, to protect it. When he got hit in the elbow, I guarantee he was so worried about damaging that because he's not healed. He's not 100% healed. So
how many athletes today?
Not many,
man.
No, so many today's athletes are so selfish. I mean, and the basketball players, they allow that. I mean, that's again, I don't harp on them. If they allowed me to dog the way things are, no. I would have abused the system.
Yeah, you wanted to win games,
no,
man.
I did, but there comes a point where, listen, I didn't want to go to practice. I didn't want to do some other stuff. There's a lot of guys. I mean, listen, Michael Strahan, he retired because he hated practice. There's a lot of other guys that they didn't have to go to football camp, they would still play. So I think, the NBA and the owners allowing these guys this load management stuff to get a collective bargaining agreement done is just crap. It's just it makes the players don't look at it as like, they think you don't like them anyway. Coming from the players' perspective, when they blast out your contract, and I recall this from the 70s when they had the entire Cardinals team. This is what sticks out in my mind. The entire Cardinals team, each guy was making $100,000, and so I think the caption was something like first $1 million lineup or something like that. But nobody needs to know your salary. Nobody needs to blast that out there. That started in the 70s on athletes. In my time, Major League Baseball gave our Social Security numbers to the IRS so they could track us down easier in each state we worked in. They made it easier for the government to track us down. So that's where a lot of the animosity was about the ownership. So today's players, it's built in that nobody likes us. Even our home fans don't really like us. So they don't care if you hate on them. So the owner should be like, listen, you're playing. If you don't play, that you don't get a check for that day.
But that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen because they have no backbone. That's a totally different, but that's on the owners.
But it doesn't need to happen with Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's, I know what he's making. He's making close to $250 million in just salary. Just salary. This guy.
No, he's making over that. He got like $330 million.
He's got so many reasons to not be in uniform.
Absolutely.
About months ago. But this whole season.
But he is a guy that at the beginning of his career, the one thing that sticks out the most to me was the Nationals and Papelbon. Papelbon's coming off of championships with the Red Sox. He goes there because he wants to win another one. He knows he's got the talent. And he and Harper got into it because I think Harper at that time was a selfish guy.
Right.
The things that I knew about when I worked there and with Strasburg and Harper were these guys but again, it's not, I don't put it all on the players. Boris is their agent. Boris is he is the puppet master. He manipulates these guys to be idiots. And Strasburg was the biggest one. Harper for a time until he was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to be a real guy. I can't just be this phony, all about me. I'm going to brand myself. I'm going to get the best shoe contract. I'm going to get all, he knew that wasn't working. So he rebranded himself as a team guy when he went to Philly because it's a city of brotherly love. You're either blue collar or they're going to kick you the hell out of there. I
love what he said about the fans the night that they beat the Braves and they move on, and is talking about how much he wants this World Series. And I was thinking, this guy, and maybe he still is, and of course he still is, that he wants it personally to have that notch on his Major League Baseball belt when he gets voted on for Hall of Fame.
From the inside of the Nationals against the Phillies, you talk about playing well on your birthday. Every time he probably has every one of those dates circled in spring training. That is another time I'm going to show those a-holes how they screwed up by not bringing me back.
But it's not just about him. It's not just about him getting a check. It's not about him preparing himself for age 40 or 50. It's about right now with him, and it's about his boys, and it's about everyone that comes to the bank to watch him play. He genuinely feels like he owes it to all of those people mentioned and all those people that help him get to where he is to be out there and play his best ability. That is missing from professional sports in the last 10 years, maybe even longer.
His dad was an iron worker in Vegas, and and he said he attributes his work ethic to what he learned from his father. I wanted to go out and I wanted to work hard because he worked hard. He did it for over 25 years. And I truly believe that's the way. He reminds me of Pete Rose. And it annoys some people. You know, it's not infectious for everybody to see that guy play the way he plays, you know, and it doesn't offend me because he's playing the game the right way. Whether it's the right way or wrong way, the way you look at it, he plays hard. Like you said, anybody who risks it. This is why I bring up Chris Carpenter constantly. Carpenter had a blown out shoulder. They shot him full of whatever so he could go out and pitch in the postseason, knowing I'm probably never going to pitch again. Knowing this is it for me. And that's the way I think Harper plays every game now. Like, this is the last game I'm ever going to play. That's the way you should play the game. And that's the way today's athletes don't think of it. They're thinking, how long can I milk this career? How long can I milk this until it's, you know, the gravy train runs out? That's the worst attitude to have. That's what's permeating through so many sports right now. That's killing it. Look at Antonio Brown got arrested again. We didn't even bring it up, but he's an idiot. He was an idiot then. He's an idiot now. So I think, if you're a smart player, you want to be in the game, but you don't want to be noticed for the wrong things.
Well, the contracts that we are talking about now, Major League Baseball first and foremost, NBA, of course, even these quarterbacks that are getting so much money nowadays and compared to what they were just 10 years ago. They have all the reasons in the world, the millions of dollars of reasons to say, hey, man, I'm not good. I'm not good right now. You know, maybe in a couple of weeks I'll be all right. The guy who's making $0, that's the free agent that doesn't know, doesn't even get to have that conversation. Bryce Harper, you don't even need to bring it up right now with this guy. This guy is so paid, top 1% of not just Major League Baseball, all the professional sports. And this guy is no holds bars right now. In a world where everyone is doing load management, everyone is looking out for themselves and not caring about the word team, and to hell with the fans. But that's not Bryce Harper. Right. And I'm falling in love with this guy. The more games he wins, the more home runs he hits.
Guy who just retired, Miguel Cabrera, did it the right way. Fabulous player his entire career. Had some bouts with alcoholism, obviously, but he didn't screw up. He didn't screw up. And you talk about Jeter. Or Kernan talking about Michael Jordan and transcending sports, Derek Jeter did. Those are the things that, if you're Harper, you aspire to be more like that and less like Fernando Tatis Jr. That guy never had to think about cheating the rest of his career once he got that contract.
Yeah.
And the first year he could cheat, that shows you what kind of character he has. That's a problem. It's the same thing with A-Rod. The fact that we push him out there, I love what Joe Buck said, that I'll never work in the MLB because as long as A-Rod's out there, I'm not going to go out there. Because he's out there for the wrong reasons. He made $500 million for the wrong reasons. He should not be out there. And I'm glad other people are starting to finally wake up and say, why is that guy out there? Why is even Jeter and Ortiz sitting next to that guy?
You could see it on Jeter's face.
Oh, my God. Two Hall of Famers sit next to a wannabe Hall of Famer that will, by hook or by crook, is going to beg his way to the Hall of Fame. And I'm telling you, in this country now in 2023, I believe A-Rod will get there.
We had a Hall of Fame retirement speech from Mr. Trevor May of the Oakland Athletics. He'll retire as an Oakland Athletic, but people probably know him more for the Mets around here. Oh, man, you should read the transcript if you haven't already of what he said about John Fisher while announcing his retirement. This was on his Twitch stream yesterday. Quote,
Do you have this
I
thing?
got it. Okay. Sell the team, dude. Sell it, man. Let someone who actually takes pride in the things they own something. There's actually people who give a rip, I'm plagiarizing there, about the game. Let them do it. Take mommy and daddy's money somewhere else, dork. If you're going to be a greedy blankety blank, own it. There's nothing weaker than being afraid of cameras. Do what you're going to do, bro. Whatever. You're a billionaire. They exist. You guys have all this power. You shouldn't have any because you haven't earned any of it. But anyway, whatever. That's the end of the quote.
I think there's a lot of people like that, and Dallas Braden's another one.
Oh gosh,
where,
Mr. A.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up an A's fan. They belong in Oakland. But there comes a time, not just with the ownership here, where the local people, now finally they're doing this in Tampa, but I guess Tampa's having some more problems. Yeah. They're having problems right now trying to build this stadium in Vegas.
Might not happen.
It might not happen. So, I just think you get to the point where moving teams and, making the most money. But if you said that about Kroenke, who owns the Rams and the Avalanche and all these other things, that guy's business decisions have been primo money and good for what he's done. He's put his money where his mouth is. Now, obviously, he's married to one of the Walmart Waltons, and they have 20-plus billion between them. But, I think those are people that take it seriously and want to win championships. I think Oakland, this is just a money grab. That we're not going to get a stadium in Oakland. We're going to go grab one in Vegas. We're going to reap the dividends. I mean, I'm still waiting for Mark Davis and the Raiders to get better. It doesn't look like it, but it's to me, yeah, you can move the team to Vegas, but you got to make the right decisions once you get there. So I think this guy has lost a lot of fans from that A's fan base. I don't think the Raiders fan base has diminished, but I think that A's has diminished a lot.
I think we're going to go through the whole thing again in 2024.
You do have a commissioner that I don't like that could step in and take the team for the betterment of the game. I mean, you've got the whole Bally's debacle where Major League Baseball now has to take all these broadcasts over.
I think they're up to like 10 teams now.
It's awful. These are the kind of things that shouldn't happen, especially when the game's going good. 70 million wanted to go out to games this year. That should be a sign that, hey, Oakland should be one of those places where we keep it. Why do we keep teams in Florida that don't draw flies? I haven't figured that out yet. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, go over who we had because we weren't able to go over it in the short show yesterday. We'll do it next.